friends, this is Jazz bringing you another video game review. Now this review is on the game My Lovely Daughter. Now, a few things before, I go on. One, I realized that this game is very morbid, so I hope it's actually able to be put out on YouTube, but I've seen Let's Plays of it, so hopefully that'll make it that I can actually, upload this video. And two, I am borrowing footage, so you'll get the credits of who had this footage in the video and in the description. Obviously, it's a hard game to even, get footage for many reasons. Now that's the thing, this review is going to be kind of a mixed bag, in a way. This game is incredibly difficult, in a way, to get the true ending of it. Now, some mechanics are easy enough. Now this review is going to be a bit over the place because I'm trying to get the most out of this review. I'll just confess, as I'm recording this video, I have not got the true ending yet. I am working towards it, but it's just, I've played enough of the game that I could probably give you a review on it without getting the full ending of it. I read some of the stories, so I have an idea about it. So, I'll say so far that everything is pretty solid in this game. I will say the audio and music has a little to be desired, but the gameplay, the story, the graphics, they're all very solid. Now that's a very short thing, but I am going to go into more depth about what I mean about each, part of it. Now, I'm going to say that with the story, how do I put it? It's both very solid and very not, in a way. Like, the story idea is great. Like the main character of Faust, right, who is a father who is grieving his daughter and wants to bring her back. And we'll say I'll tell you more later, there's a twist in this story which is amazing. But the problem I have, this story is not a story that someone with an ADD-like brain would be able to follow. Now, really, that isn't a big flaw, because most people playing this game probably are neurotypical enough, or at least don't have as many problems with processing as I do. So this is more of a Jazz issue, but the story is it briefly shows cutscenes, but after that, you have to go in the book and read it all. Why? The memories, read it all. If you have a brain like I do, you're not in the mood to just take time reading, everything. Now, I'm not saying this, guys. This is only a flaw if you're like me. If you're in the right state that you can read and enjoy reading everything, then it's the story is fantastic. But if you're someone like me who doesn't quite have the neurotypical brain and needs to take time processing things, but also wants just to get on with the game, I would kind of give this a skip. Yeah, I still enjoy the game, but I can't fully appreciate it, right? But again, this is not really the game's fault necessarily, but my fault. I picked up this game, and for that reason. So the gameplay. Now, guys, the gameplay is again very, very solid, really good actually. But again, this is going to be another Jazz issue, because this is really only a problem when you're not in the right, you don't have the right type of brain to slowly take your time and be strategic with everything. Now, most of it is easy enough. You have the 4 entities, the sadness, the joy, the fear, the anger, You can make homunculi, which are like what is it? Monsters made by like material, like because Faust is an alchemist. So, and each of them can have their own jobs that they're good at. The main point is that your daughter has no soul, like her soul's in the soul chamber, and you want to revive her by like mixing the perfect amount of each, you know, emotion, right? To bring her back, right? That's the main issue I have. That is the struggle I have. You have to play through it so many times, kill so many homunculi to get the harvest their soul, their entity, just to fail at, you know, adding the soul back because you didn't get the right amount. You have to play it so many times through to get the right number for each soul that you need, like for each emotion for the soul that you need. You have to play at least 3, 4, or 5 times, you know, each to revive them. So, the best way to put it is that each time you have a failed, you know, resurrection, like Faust will scratch out notes and put a number in the emotion, whether it's joy, right? It could be from 0 to 1,000, like you go max 1,000. Right, but each time he not each time, but each significant time he fails, there'll be a new column with a different number estimate. Now you have to have at least the 4th column for each, and the 4th one for each is usually the correct number you need, the correct range. So, could you just picture that for someone who doesn't have a lot of patience? I'm at a point where I only have anger with the 4th column. So now I have to do each of the others in the 3rd column and make another emotion higher, and then that one will have the new 4th range. So I have to do it 3 more times, with each time having one of the other dominant emotions as the one of the other emotions as the dominant one, so I can get the correct number for that one, and then by the time all 4 of them have the 4th range, it should be enough, right? So could you just picture someone that doesn't have a good patience or a short attention span? Yeah, now I know this sounds like I'm overly complaining about it, but again, there's nothing wrong in my opinion with the game. Like, if you don't have the short attention span I do, the game for me would be flawless, right? I am enjoying my time with the game. It is something different. It's really dark, but it's something different. Now guys, don't take this review as a big grain of salt, because this is coming from, again, someone with ADD and ASD traits, who definitely has some type of processing disorder. So this is just coming from my point of view. But if it was from someone else, I would say that it would keep them busy for a long time. The story is actually really good, right? Again, the audio, there's not much music in the audio that I can really say about it, for both ends, that are significant enough, and that would probably be its weakest flaw. The graphics are solid enough, like, you got unique characters, right? And there's like, about 39 different homunculi that you could do, so many for each emotion, which, I mean, I admit the fact that you have to kill off your homunculi for the purpose that you need to do is pretty dark and would never be approved by PETA. Again, who cares what PETA has to say, honestly, at this point. But, again, as I said, I don't have really any actual flaws thinking from the brain of someone who doesn't have all these learning difficulties, right? Honestly, it's a fair game. You just need to learn how the mechanics work, how to balance out the affinity, the number and the affinities, which I'm still learning, but I am learning it. it is kind of sad that your daughters kind of idolize you. In order to kill them off, your homunculi. There's actually several different endings. I mean, some of them are the same, but they're based on how much you give to each of your give your daughter which emotion. Like, she could be a rage and lunatic. She can be a perfect daughter, which I did get that ending, having each of the affinities at 1,000. You can get the euphoric, that she just giggles all the time. She's too happy. You can get the anxious daughter, the sad, you know. You can get the true ending, right? Which again, the story again is really good if you don't have the brain I do. And even then, it is good when I actually read it. It holds me to it once I actually start reading it. It's like, it gives you a lot to do, in a way. I mean, I will admit that after you do unlock everything, like all the you know, the upgrades and that, it can get a little stale. Kind of like the story of Seasons of Wonderful Life. But you know what? I'll give a point to this game over the story of Seasons of Wonderful Life. Even though after you unlock everything and you don't have much of a need for money and all that, you still need to do everything to unlock your daughter's endings. So at least you're busy that. Where the other game, once you unlock everything, it's just a slog to get to the end. Right? So, you know what, even then, this game has a point towards the positive, because honestly, it keeps your attention a lot longer, right? You gotta use more of your brain to actually play it, so you gotta point towards that. So I can't think of much else. Like, I know that there's things like trust, where you gotta get your villagers' trust, because they knew you for your alchemy before, but yet, Boss doesn't have memory of the last few years. He's an amnesiac. Forgot to mention that as well. And they all remember him, right? So there's a trust meter, too, which I never paid much attention to, which I really should, I think. But, as I said, besides all that, like, it's not a monster racing simulator necessarily, even though you do get your homunculi up to like high levels and high affection. The higher your level and your affection, the more you'll get when you let them try. You'll get more, you know, infinity to that emotion. So it is important to raise them a pretty high level, like at least the first time around, at least level 10, which is the highest level and the highest affection, right? That's the thing, there's affection, there's the level. You can get the affection by giving them like gifts of their infinity that they like, spending time with them, which you can only do for one homunculi each week, because each turn is a week. So, again, it's all really solid, right? Once you pay attention and you learn about it, it goes from challenge level, goes from, you know, hard to middle-ish. It's never really easy necessarily. What is difficult is the determining what the right amount is for the true ending. Besides that, it's a pretty straightforward game. You just need to have the patience to fill each infinity the right amount. Like if you want to see the right number for joy, you need to make that the dominant trait, but still have the other traits within a good range of it. And then it'll scratch it out and give you the fourth after you've done it a few times. So that is probably the hardest part in the game, is getting each emotion to the fourth range. And then after you finally do, you should, as long as you get them within that range, you should get the good ending, or the real ending. So I think as long as you have the patience, right, and you pay attention, it isn't overly difficult. It's just a little tedious, if you know what I mean. So, what would I score this game, guys? Honestly, on a scale out of 10, I would probably give it an 8, really. At the lowest, a 7.5. right a 7.5 to an 8 because it's a pretty solid game. And honestly, with my brain, I just don't have as much patience. But it really is a very good game. It keeps you busy, but it isn't like too boring, like near the ending of the Story of Seasons of Wonderful Life. It's just the right amount, right? That it keeps you busy. You always have a task at hand. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, like what you see, please subscribe and help this channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know when new videos are coming out. And I'll see you guys in my next video.